So I had someone the other day come to me and say that they're constantly worried that they're doing something wrong. So he was a man who was trying to manifest his SP. He was overthinking things. He was consuming a lot of videos and TikToks that like gave him opposing information. So he was worried, like, okay, what am I? I'm doing the techniques, but what if I'm doing it wrong? Like, I'm not perfect. The technique says to do it this way, and like I don't know if I'm doing it exactly right. And I essentially told him, like, look, okay, first of all, this is why I really recommend reading the source material on your own. So nothing can replace reading Neville Goddard's books or Jane Roberts' books and understanding it for yourself. Everything that you see online, including my material, is always going to be filtered through that person's consciousness. So they're going to put in like their own understandings. They might unintentionally leave things out that they think are obvious, or put things in that is not what Neville or Jane Roberts meant. So it's always best, in my opinion, to go directly to the source, because then you cut out like all distortions. It's kind of like a game of telephone. That game where like one person whispers something, a phrase or a word to another person, and that person whispers it to a third person, and so on and so forth. By the end of the chain, the word is completely different. No one intended to manipulate or change it. It just happens. It's fine to watch content, but I think that for a really solid understanding of the law, read the Neville Goddard books, and they're not very long. You can find most of them free on YouTube in the form of an audiobook. When you understand the law, you don't need to worry about whether or not you're doing it wrong, because you'll understand why all the techniques work. The techniques, every single technique, exists just to help you get into the mental state of feeling like you have your desire. It either gets you imagining it, or feeling it, or thinking as if you already have it, like thinking how you would think if it was already a part of your life. This is why some people consider techniques a placebo, because it's just a way of like baiting you into feeling how you need to feel to have your desire reflect into physical reality. Scripting, visualizing, 2 cups method, vision board, inner conversations, mental dieting, doesn't really matter. Like specifically what you're doing doesn't really matter. You could be juggling hamsters. Yeah, you could be skateboarding on your hands. If these things help you feel how you would feel if you had your desire, then it's a valid technique. And so when people ask me like, what's the best technique? I have to tell them, whichever works for you, whichever you like doing, whichever one you'll actually do consistently, and whichever one gets you feeling how you would feel if you already had your desire. So what do I mean by that? Say you're manifesting wealth. If you script for wealth, like you're writing in your journal what you would do with all that money and how awesome you would feel and how free everything would be. If that doesn't get you feeling like excited and pumped or like relieved, not worrying about your debt, free from your job or whatever the heck it is that you currently feel like you have to do just for money, if scripting doesn't get you there, then it's not the right technique for you. But if, say, prayer gets you there, like if you have a really strong religious system and you really do feel like if you pray to whoever you worship that you're going to be guaranteed it, then great. Then you can like let down your burdens and actually think, okay, it's done. Like wealth is mine. Or if you really like visualization, you're sitting there on the couch, like just visualizing what you would do with all your money, spending it, giving it away. If that makes you feel really abundant and like relieved in those few moments where you're visualizing, then great, do that. But there's not really like when people come to me and they're like, okay, should I do first person visualization or third person visualization? I'm like, Neville recommended first person, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because there are so many people in the world who can't do first person visualizations or any visualizations at all. We manifest everything in our lives. So those people who can't visualize from first person or like all 5 senses super vivid, they're still manifesting just fine. They're still creating their lives just fine. So I don't want you guys getting caught up on the details of like, oh no, I wasn't visualizing from the first person. I got like 4 senses down, but not the 5th sense. Or exactly how much do I have to script? Like how many lines or like how many pages do I need to do? It doesn't really matter. Do what you need to do to change the way that you think and feel, even if for only a few minutes a day. What helps a lot is getting yourself in a state where you can feel it intensely. So that's going to be different for a lot of people. For some people who really like writing about their manifestation will automatically conjure up the emotions really intensely of their desire. For other people, it's visualization. And like I said earlier, for other people who have intense faith in their deity, it's prayer. But again, do whatever you want to do that doesn't hurt other people to get you into the state of feeling like you have what you want. And then don't worry too much about like whether you're doing it exactly right. Because like I said, you can juggle hamsters or you can skateboard upside down. If that gets you into the state, there is no like right way. It's whatever the heck gets you into the state. And when I say state, I mean like state of mind. Thinking as if you were the person who already has your desire and imagining it and like talking, having inner conversations as if it's already yours. And another point I want to make is, I'm going to bust out my favorite Neville quote again, which is, feeling a state produces that state. So if you're constantly worrying like, am I doing it right? Am I manifesting my SP correctly? Am I manifesting wealth correctly? Does someone with their SP or someone who has all the wealth they want think like that? No, because they already have their thing. Like if you're married, you're not gonna be sitting there thinking like, oh my goodness, am I manifesting my husband correctly? Like, does he like me? No. That would be like the farthest thing on your mind. You don't think about that. Like, I'm presuming wherever you are that you have food, running water, roof over your head, electricity, and internet. How often do you sit there wondering like, oh man, how am I gonna manifest having power, like having food or a roof over my head? You already have those things, and when you have those things and you feel really strongly and securely that you will have them indefinitely, you don't think about getting them because you already have them. And certainly you don't think about messing up manifesting them. Why would you? So if you're worried about whether or not you're manifesting correctly, that in itself is a state of mind. These are the thoughts that you're creating that will be perpetuated because you're now creating more events where you have to wonder, am I doing it right? So for people who are like worrying, am I manifesting my SP correctly? They're working against themselves. In that moment, they're postponing the arrival of their SP or their desired relationship in their reality because they're thinking, am I doing it right? And feeling that state will produce more of that state. So the way that I get around this is whenever I worry, and I only learned this from reading the source material a lot, and reading and being told directly from the Seth books that worrying is against your best interest. It is misusing your like creative potential against what you want. And when I realized that, and I noticed how much I worry in my everyday life, I was like, okay, I have to stop worrying. The way that I go about doing it, and of course it's easier said than done, it gets easier with practice, I promise, is whenever I catch myself worrying about something, I just try my best to drop it immediately. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm worrying about this thing. I shouldn't worry about it, because worrying about something is concentrating on it and feeling it real, with intensity, with visuals, with sensory vividness, and all that stuff. So don't do that, Leanna. Stop. First of all, stop worrying. I generally try to distract myself by thinking about something else. And my favorite go-to examples are chicken nuggets, SpongeBob, kittens, whatever. Your favorite TV show, your favorite song, what you're gonna have for dessert tonight, doesn't matter, just think about something else. Just to get your thinking off of that. You don't have to be afraid of those thoughts. It's just like, okay, I understand that these thoughts are not helpful for me. Let me guide myself to something else. As a bonus, if you want to, you can instead start thinking about what you want instead of what you don't want. So if you're worried about not getting your SP, you can start thinking positive thoughts that are more in line with your manifestation desire. Like, could be anything. Could be, wow, I'm glad he loves me so much, or I can't wait for our first anniversary. Where am I going to take him? Like, where is our honeymoon going to be? What's our wedding going to be like? Stuff like that. It's not required, because I've had great luck just stopping worrying and having my manifestation come right after that. But essentially, you want to stop working against yourself by manifesting the complete opposite, which is what you fear, the worst case scenario, by thinking about it and dwelling about it. So some other tricks that help me with this is just when I get into that anxious state of like, oh no, what if I don't get my thing? I remind myself, like, look, the source teachers all said you create your reality. You fully create your reality, everything in it. They reminded us that you can have what you want. I think about how every incident in my life, when I really sit down and examine it and remember how it panned out, I see that my state of mind and my thoughts and my feelings before that were exactly in line with what I got. So if it was hot and cold, I got hot and cold. If it was really positive and I was sure I'd get a thing, I got the thing. If I felt like I wouldn't get the thing, I didn't get the thing. So I remind myself, like, look, I have ample proof in my life of the law. And then I also think about every success story I've ever read. I also think about every celebrity and athlete who attributes their success to visualization and believing themselves. Like, I basically reassure myself, look, the law is real. I've seen it work in the past. Other people have said it works. People that I have no reason to not believe, like Jane Roberts and Neville Goddard, have also said it works. This is what I've read, and all I have to do now is stop worrying. I am probably not having my desire now because I'm worrying and I'm thinking and dwelling on and visualizing what it would be like to not have it. And usually that's enough for me to like short circuit the overthinking positive feedback loop. If you're worried that you're not doing it right, remember, feeling is a secret. Does that technique get you feeling how you would feel and thinking how you would feel and imagining how you would imagine if you were the person who already has your wish now? Second of all, if you're worrying, stop. Do what you need to do to get your mind off of it. Talk to a friend, think about something else, open up Reddit, open up Netflix, whatever. Or open up a source book. Whatever you need to do to just stop worrying, because your mind is really powerful. And your 3D is a reflection of what goes on in your mind. So you should not spend your time and energy thinking about the most undesired worst case scenario. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down below and I'll see if I can answer it. And if not, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.